Hi friends, this is going to be a continuation video in this general aspects of NEETPG/INICET preparation. Our first video, we spoke about the first reading. So the first reading part is done once your classes are winded up. Your notes are perfect and they are ready for the first revision. You are not going to add any info or delete any info once you start your revision, right? So the notes that is created in the first reading is going to be the final, and that information is what you're going to take it confidently to your exam hall, right? So let's see with what and all the things that have to be done in the first revision, right? So what are the 5 aspects of first revision, right? First thing is scheduling. Scheduling was taken care for your first reading by your offline coaching class or your online live classes. But for first revision or further revisions, you have to do your scheduling. You have to get the habit of scheduling and also maintain the habit of being on track according to the schedule, right? So that is going to be the toughest part. And revising the primary notes, as I said, your notes is what you're going to take to your exam hall confidently, right? PYQs and reviewing, right? This is where you're going to start doing your PYQs, PYQ question. You are done with your say custom modules or sorry, question bank modules in your first reading itself, right? Now you're going to do the PYQs, right? Creating the memory wall. I'll speak much about what is a memory wall or what I call as the notice board in much detail in the upcoming slides. And giving grant tests. I guess this is the most sought after topic because everyone are crazy about grant tests. Grant test is given much importance. Yes, it deserves importance, but it is not going to be the only thing that is very, very important, right? Right. Cool. So scheduling. Plan for a relatively tight schedule with few free days in between. Only if you plan for a tight schedule, you will get time for another 1 or 2 revision after your first revision, right? So tight scheduling with few free days in between is important. Why these few free days? Because if you lag by 2 to 3 days, then you can cover it on your free days or reserve days or bonus days. So how to give this free days? Say you're doing a long subject, give 2 to 3 free days after every 2 to 3 long subjects. Say you are doing short or intermediate subjects, give 2 to 3 days of free days after every 4 to 5 short subjects. I repeat, 2 to 3 free days after 2 to 3 long subjects, 2 to 3 free days after 4 to 5 short or intermediate subjects, right? Hope that is clear. So your first revision should get ended by within 2.5 to 3 months, right? Usually it is advisable that you do it by 2 to 2.5 months. If you plan like what I said with relative free days, you might be finishing it between 2.5 months, but maximum relaxable limit is going to be 3 months for your first revision, right? Right. Ways to schedule. So how we are going to schedule, right? So three things can be done basically. One is basically by paper and pen, which is a typical method that we used in our school days. And the second thing is going to be using Excel sheets. Those who are well versed with using Excel sheets, they can go ahead with Excel sheets. It's going to be bread and butter for you. And those who are like not so good with Excel sheets, you can go with the method that I followed, that is going with your Google or your mobile calendar. There are many to-do planners and apps that are available, but I didn't feel that was useful or it didn't meet my need. Simple Google calendar or your smartphone calendar will do the necessary things, right? Some offline coaching guys even provide with planners, that is well and good. You can plan it in those planners. It's going to be I have seen many people not using those planners. I would recommend to use those planners. Your planners is going to be very, very helpful, right? Right. So how to schedule for the first revision, right? So two things has to be done. One, you need the data of how many days that particular subject the class has been taken for, right? In your coaching class or online live session. Say for pathology has been taken for 5 days, microbiology for 4 days. You have to collect these data, either get it from your coordinator or search in your group and have it by side. So the second thing that we'll be doing is splitting the subjects into long, short and intermediate subjects. So with this data and splitting the subjects, we are going to schedule for the first revision. So how are we going to schedule, right? So say we are taking short subjects. What are the short subjects, right? Short subjects are SARPOP, called with the mnemonic SARPOP: skin, anesthesia, radiology, psychiatry, ortho and FM. These are the 6 short subjects. What are the long subjects? Long subjects are surgery, medicine, OBGY, PSM, and pharmacology. This is going to be your long subjects, right? And other things is going to be your intermediate subjects, right? This is the basic idea. So how are we going to schedule? Say short subjects, for example, short subjects. Let's consider dermatology. If dermatology has been taken for 2 days in your offline session or your online live class, you are going to take 2 days to do the first revision of that specific subject, say dermatology, right? So for short subjects, it is equal to number of days the classes have been taken for that particular subject, right? So this is for short subjects. What to do for intermediate subjects? Intermediate subjects, the number of classes taken for that particular subject minus 1. Say, let's consider pediatrics. Pediatrics, the classes have been taken for 4 days. Say, usually it's taken for 4 days, right? So if it is taken for 4 days, your first revision should be done within 3 days. That is 4 minus 1, it's going to be 3. This is for intermediate subjects. For long subjects, right? For long subjects, it's going to be number of classes taken for that, number of days classes taken for that particular subject minus 2. For example, surgery. Say surgery class has been taken for 6 days, right? Minus 2 is going to give you 4 days. So surgery should be completed within 4 days in your first revision, right? So these are the ways to schedule and how to schedule. I have given a brief idea. I repeat, short subjects equal to number of days the classes have been taken. Intermediate subject, number of days the classes have been taken for the particular subject minus 1. And for long subjects, number of days the classes have been taken for that particular subject minus 2, right? So next, it's okay to lag by 2 to 3 days by your schedule, right? That's why we are giving the reserve days. As I said, reserve days has to be given every 2 to 3 days for every 2 to 3 long subjects, 2 to 3 days for every 4 to 5 short or intermediate subjects. Like so that 2 to 3 days, if you lag, can be covered in this reserve days or bonus days, right? So it is okay to lag by 2 to 3 days. If you are lagging by more than 2 to 3 days, then it means that your preparation requires some amount of troubleshooting. You are not in pace with your preparation, right? So kindly work on it. So if you're lagging by more than 3 days than your schedule, which means you are not putting enough effort, right? Plus how many hours to study? This has been a very important question. I did it for 10 hours. Okay, my thing was 10 hours. There are 24 hours per day, right? 10 hours was my study time. I get 8 hours of sleep, which is equal to 18 hours. 4 hours for my dinner, breakfast, and snacks. Dinner, lunch, breakfast, and snacks. 4 hours I took it for each meal. I took 1 hour, and snacks 15 minutes, 15 minutes for snacks break. Or snacks break doesn't mean that I'll be snacking every time, I'm munching every time. Just it will be just 15 minutes of using phone or something, right? So 4 hours for that. Totally we got 20, 18 plus 4 plus 2 hours. 2 hours is going to be your leisure. You can keep it as a leisure. If anything, any activity you want to do, if you want to go out, if you want to work out for the gym, so that's going to be 2 hours. So 10 hours for study, 8 hours of sleep, 2 hours of leisure, and 4 hours of snack, lunch, and dinner, breakfast break, right? So that's how you're going to schedule your day. Right. Never juggle between subjects. I have seen many people who get bored with the subject. Say you're reading surgery, surgery is quite long subject, you're going to read it for 4 days. Many people feel that after reading general surgery, oh, I'm already bored, and they skip to sometimes OBGY or some other things, go to anatomy or come back. So if you're going to juggle between the subjects, there is going to be a knowledge gap that is going to be created between these two subjects, and this knowledge gap will remain as a knowledge gap in your brain, right? So never do that. Never juggle between the subjects. It would give rise, as I said, it would give rise to knowledge gaps in both the subjects, right? Right. I'll keep this here. I guess it's not visible for you, right? This is much better, right? Follow an order and stick to that order till the end, right? This is very, very important, right? I have seen some people who start with integration in the very first revision itself, right? So that is not recommended, right? I followed an order that automatically gave me integration between the subjects, right? Systemic integration, right? So I kindly recommend you to follow an order and stick to that order till the end. The order that I followed, I will share it in clip next to the slide. So the order that I followed is going to be like, I started off with physiology. Physiology forms the base of everything, right? Then came pharmacology, right? Pharmacology. Then came anesthesia. After anesthesia, I did psychiatry. And after following psychiatry, I did FM. FM is followed by opthal. So this is my first set of subjects. Physiology followed by pharmacology. Physiology and pharmacology will have lot of graphs, lot of numbers to remember, lot of names to remember, has lot of applications. So it's done in the first itself, so that my main burden is decreased, right? Plus once I'm done with pharmacology, a lot of pharmacology goes hand in hand with anesthesia mostly, regarding the drugs. Psychiatry maximum weightage in INICET for psychiatry is given in psychopharmacology. So once you do CNS pharmacology, pharmacology is taken care. Psychiatry and FM together. Again, psychiatry deals with sexual aspects, sexual disorders, and even toxicological parts, some of the toxical in substance abuse disorder, and forensic toxicology, and the sexual part of our forensic is also taken care, right? Optal is one subject that you don't fit, that doesn't fit anywhere. So I have kept it in the middle of my sets, right? So Optal is fit over here, right? So after this first set, the second set involves biochem, pediatrics, PSM, micro, derma, right? This is going to be the second set. Biochem and pediatrics, as you know, the enzyme linked disorders are very correlatable in pediatrics. Pediatrics and PSM together, again, immunization and those parts are studied in PSM better than pediatrics, right? So there is an integration for that. PSM followed by microbiology, because infectious diseases, most of the infectious diseases are studied in community medicine, and the bacteriological part is going to be studied in microbiology. And your dermatology, half of the dermatology is again infectious dermatology. So once you are done with the bacteria, you will be studying some amount of dermatology in your microbiology itself. So that is also taken care. This, like this, the burden that you're going to study in that particular subject is going to reduce, and it will be easy for you to approach the subjects if you follow this order. It was easy for me. I would recommend you to follow this order. If you are already following an order, that's totally fine. Kindly stick to that order. Even for your second revision also, kindly don't start with integration in the early phase, right? Cool. So what is going to be the third set? The third set is going to consist of major subjects. Third set starts with pathology, anatomy, ENT, ortho, surgery, surgery, radio, medicine, and OBGY, right? Pathology will go hand in hand with medicine and surgery. So pathology is done first over here. And I did pathology just after micro, because some amount of general pathology, some amount of the staining, those things go hand in hand with microbiology. And after pathology, I thought I will insert surgery, but before surgery we have to do anatomy, ENT, and ortho part. So that will take a few days. You won't forget pathology within those days. So anatomy, ENT, ortho is fit within. Anatomy, ENT, ortho go hand in hand. ENT and ortho require as much anatomy equal to the weightage of the subject, and surgery. So they followed by surgery. So pathology, anatomy, surgery. So that's how the interlinking takes place. Surgery followed by radio. Radio goes hand in hand with surgery as well as medicine. So surgery, radio, medicine. Medicine now, because at the end, because you are already thorough with physiology, pharmacology, and pathology. Now it will be medicine's approach to medicine is going to be very, very easy. I put OBGY in the last because OBGY is one subject that I feel that I don't get a good understanding with. Plus, it involves a lot of numbers. You have to remember a lot of weeks, right? In case of OBGY. So I had those problems. I have never understood this cycle, physiology. Those things were very, very difficult for me. The one thing I loved in reading in OBGY is going to be the obstetric part, the labor part. That's the thing that I loved reading in OBGY, right? Other things were difficult for me, so I kept OBGY at the last. So I will put this in a clip, short clip next to this slide, so that you can take a thing. So scheduling, as I said, this is my first thing that I followed. I'm pretty good at working with Excel sheets. So I did my Excel sheets, and then I could switch it to the calendar. So calendar had some color stuff, and I added small cute emojis so that it made me interesting to take a look at it. It was wanting to take a look at it, right? Cool. So second part of the first revision is going to be revising the primary notes. Your primary notes is going to be your holy book. It's Quran or Bhagavad Gita or your Bible. It's going to be your holy book, your primary notes, right? Your primary notes is what you're going to take to your exam confidently. And there are some people, don't become overconfident once you start remembering as you turn the pages, right? There are some people who turn the few pages and they assume that they remember everything. They become overconfident and they give less time for that subject and they skip that. Don't do that. Even though if you are confident that you know your notes, study your notes, repeatedly study your notes. That is very, very important, right? Making mistakes from your notes is a crime. That's the point at the last. Making mistakes, making mistakes from the questions that are directly from your notes can drastically decrease your rank, right? It's a crime to do that, right? It's going to reduce your rank by 10,000 or something. So never become overconfident about your notes, right? About the information in your notes. Do not expect all the concepts to stay fresh. So some people, after they completing their first reading, once they start with their first revision, once they go through the initial few pages, they feel like, oh, I have listened everything to this class, but I don't remember anything. It is natural to feel like that, right? You have been in a long gap after the, say your classes started with anatomy 4 months back, and you're starting with anatomy after 4 months, after a 4 month gap. It is natural to feel that, right? So don't stop reading, or don't think that you can't do this. Kindly resume reading, right? As you read, as you go on, there will be a point where everything goes hand in hand, right? There you will regain the concept, right? You will regain or retain about 70% of the concept, what that is of what that is taught in your class. And remaining 30%, even if you don't remember the concept, just mug it up, right? So NEET PG or INICT is going to be 60, I'll give it a 60-40 split. So 60% is going to be a concept, 40% is going to be your facts, right? So it is okay that if you don't remember all the concepts would not be needed to apply in the exam. So the concepts that you don't get it, just remember it as facts. Don't waste time on reading those repeatedly, trying to understand each and every concept, right? Trying to search for the reason behind every damn thing. Don't do that. Remember it as facts. Facts has to be remembered, right? Okay, right. So making mistakes from notes is a crime, as I said before. Making mistakes from notes is a crime. So I want to address one thing that I got as a query, to whether to trust your notes for all the subjects. Most of the coaching classes conduct their classes from nationalized faculty, right? So they all have experience in this thing. There are a few faculties whose notes are not that yielding or that good. It doesn't, though they have explained the concept very well, but they lack in content. So kindly be vigilant in finding out those notes. Usually it becomes a discussion within your offline coaching class or your online live session groups in the WhatsApp group. Many people would start complaining that we got many of the PYQs or the question bank modules wrong. If you're getting many wrong things in PYQ, it means the content is not enough. That particular content given by that particular faculty is not enough. Kindly refer a second resource only for those notes that became a discussion in your group, that everyone started talking that they were not able to solve the PYQs. We got many wrongs in PYQs. So those kindly be vigilant in finding out those notes and address those notes with a second resource. Only those notes, not for every damn notes. Say you are getting the PYQs wrong, then it means that you are having a problem that you must work on. If it becomes a discussion, then it means that if 10 to 20 people are speaking about it, then it means that you have to work on that notes, you have to be vigilant on that notes, you have to search for a second resource, right? PYQs and review. Solve PYQs at end of each subject, right? Cool. Just give a quick go through of the explanation. Don't waste time on reading those long explanation that is not required. What to read from PYQ? Just what is the answer, why it is the answer, not the why it is the answer will be given in the very first line itself. Any question bank you take, it will be given in the first line itself, right? So read that first line, read the underlined parts if possible, see the images once, and then if any table is given, kindly go through the table once. Don't add any info to your notes, right? Be it the table, be it the image, be it the PYQ that you got wrong, don't add to that things to your note. Why I'm telling not to add your PYQ information to your notes? Because you will be doing your PYQ repeatedly. I want you to do your PYQ once again in your second revision. Even if you're doing a final set of revision, even before the exam, give your PYQ once and go, right? PYQ is very important in terms of INICET more than NEET PG, right? PYQ is going to play a role. So don't add the PYQ information to your notes. Just repeatedly solve the PYQs, right? The PYQ that you got wrong in the very first attempt, you might get it right in the next attempt, and the PYQ that you got right in the very first attempt, you might have a different aspect of thinking in the second attempt, and you might get it wrong. This might happen, this will happen, it is natural. So don't worry about getting things wrong in the PYQ. Any attempt, let it be. Don't be discouraged that even you are getting the PYQs wrong. It's okay, we learn from the mistakes, but remember, learning from the mistakes is important, right? Learning from the mistakes is important. Ignoring the mistake or thinking that whatever you thought was the right answer and just keeping it off is a very, very wrong thing to do. Kindly don't do that. Learn from your mistakes. Do mistakes, it's okay, but learning is equally important, right? If there is any controversial or confusing questions, kindly post it in your group. Kindly have the habit of posting it in your group. Don't feel shy to post questions in your group. Yes, you are in a competitive exam, but you are not at the exam hall, right? You are here to learn. Everyone is here to learn. Everyone has their own doubts. Once you start sharing the doubts in your group, only others also get the courage to share those things in the group, right? You be the first person who's going to share those information in the group, right? So that you can get it cleared by the particular faculty. And remember, say you are using one question bank and your friend is using one question bank, it is the same PYQ, but this X app says that this is the answer, Y app says that this is the answer. Kindly refer the faculty. Your faculty's answer is going to be your standard answer. You have invested in them. They are experienced people. Trust in them, right? NEET PG PYQs or INICET PYQs does not have one answer. It is mostly what the examiner has thought, right? So mostly stick to the answers that the faculty tells you as the answer, right? Stick to that. Your faculty is your standard book, right? Your faculty is your standard book, right? Fine. Creating the memory wall, this is going to be the very, very important thing. This is going to determine how much you're going to retain, how much you're going to take to your exam confidently, right? Organize important points of a chapter in a sticky notes and stick it on your wall. Now you have, after your first reading, you have done your solved your modules, you have given your subjectives, you have done your PYQs in your first revision, right? So after all these things, you will know what are all the important info and what are all the important info that is volatile for you, right? If you feel the info is important, it has been repeated, and you feel it is volatile also, kindly write it down, jot down the important points in a sticky notes and paste it on a wall, right? This is very, very important thing to do. This will determine your retention power, right? How to use this, how to study this, I'll be telling in the second revision and further revisions part, right? Right, for now in the first revision you're going to create the memory wall, right? Right, limit the number of sticky notes per subject. How much to do? For short subjects, keep it as 10 sticky notes. For intermediate subjects, keep it as 15 sticky notes, and for long subjects, keep it as 20 sticky notes. Okay, don't write all the damn information that is in your primary notes to the sticky notes. Only the information that has been repeated so much time and you feel it is volatile for you. For most of them, it would be an eponym, a number, a formula, or mostly this would be the things. Eponyms, numbers, and formulas are going to be the difficult thing. IPCs for forensics. So there are few certain things that everyone feel difficult about the subject. So kindly jot it down, the things that you feel volatile and important in your sticky notes, and paste it in your memory wall, right? Click say okay, regarding this point, if you feel that information is important and you feel it volatile, but it is already organized in your notes in form of tables, okay, right? So if the faculty has already organized the important info for you, kindly click the pictures of that tables and put it in a folder under the subject's name, right? Cool. So this is what you can do. You're going to revise the memory wall and the particular folder containing the all the tables, okay, from your primary notes, right? Right, in this is going to be done in the second revision, right? So creating is done over here. Revision part or reviewing part is going to be done during your second revision, right? So this is my memory wall. So this is some example I have created for OG. As I said, labor was one interesting part. So I have done the circumferences, suboccipitofrontal, suboccipitobregmatic, those things. And these things are my sticky notes I done for surgery and for microbiology. I know this is quite high. You might think, you might be counting, some people might be counting it right now. I didn't follow the rule previously because there was no one to tell me this. But that is going to be limit your things. I had a whole damn wall containing full of sticky notes, but I ended up crashing, unable to revise it properly. So kindly limit your sticky notes. That's why I'm saying limit your sticky notes. Put only the important information that you feel it's volatile, right? Grant test. Coming to the very important part, many people would be have been waiting for the grant test part. Many of my juniors who ask me or also want to know how to give the grant test, right? So before you start your first revision, you're going to give only two grant tests. One, as I said in the first reading part, it's your pre-preparation grant test, and I missed that after the first reading. So once all your classes has been winded up, give a grant test. So this will test you that whether these classes have helped you to improve your knowledge, to improve your rank in your grant test, right? So now we are going to start with grant test in your first revision. When to give this grant test? Initially fortnightly, every 2 weeks, right? This is going to be standard. Most of them would have already said this. Start giving grant test fortnightly, every 2 weeks, right? Prefer real exam slots. So how to give your grant test, right? Prefer real exam time slots, right? Say mostly give your grant test on Sundays. Say you are giving your grant test on the first Sunday of October. Your next grant test is going to be scheduled on third Sunday of October, right? Every 2 weeks, every alternate weeks, right? So more than every 2 weeks, it's every alternate week, right? Okay, fine. That's a correction. Every alternate week, right? So your first grant test is going to take place on 1st of October. Your second grant test will take place on 3rd of October. For example, I'm speaking. Say if you're going to give your grant test at the 9 a.m. slot in 1st of October, kindly give the grant test at 3:30 slot, 3:30 p.m. slot in the 3rd October, right? So we'll make sure that we match both the time slots. For most of, why I'm telling that, because most of the people would be like me, especially the South Indians. One, we'll be eating nice non-veg in the morning, and we won't have we'll give the GT in our leisure time, and we'll usually we'll have non-veg in the morning, and it will be a sleeping time after 10 o'clock, right? Plus will have some people will have a brunch at the afternoon, and they will be and 3 to 5 would be a sleeping time. My nap time, afternoon nap time, was 3 to 5. So we South Indians especially have this habit of afternoon napping. So kindly have this habit of doing it in a Sunday. Keep your breakfast light, have a coffee before you give your grant test, right? So that's it about the grant test. How to give the grant test, right? Any platform is fine. Any platform that stimulates the simulates the real exam is fine. And so kindly lock yourself 30 minutes before the grant test starts in your room, because your exam gates are going to be closed by 8:30, and you're going to sit without any gadgets, anything in your exam hall for 30 minutes. So let's bring that habit. Kindly lock yourself in a room, devoid of any gadgets, devoid of any study material, just you on your laptop. Lock yourself before 30 minutes. Say your exam is going to be starting at 9 o'clock, you're going to lock yourself at 8:30 a.m. itself, right? You're going to sit simply for that 30 minutes. Have this habit, bring this habit, right? Review or grant test the same day. Giving the grant test and not reviewing is of no use, right? No use, right? Say how to review a grant test. Have the habit of if you are guessing the answer, have the habit of giving I am guessing this answer. Most of the apps provide that. So kindly have the habit of choosing for that for the apps for the answers that you are not very confident with, so that will make your reviewing easier, right? Say you're giving your grant test starting your grant test at 9 o'clock. Your grant test will get ended by 1 o'clock. Go have your lunch, come back, take 2 to 3 hours, review your grant test, and close your laptop, and then go for a short nap or short rest, right? So don't close your laptop before you review your grant test, right? So progress from the initial rank matters. Your initial rank doesn't matter, right? So progressing from those rank matters, and your initial rank doesn't matter. I'm stressing on this point because some people get feel low or feel down when the rank doesn't improve, or they get a very low rank initially, right? It's okay to feel so. You will slowly progress from that rank. Trust me, have trust in your preparation, right? If you're good, if you're troubleshooting your preparation with the points that I've said, your rank should improve, right? Then even your rank doesn't matter. Sometimes it's the mark that you, the correct number of correct responses that you get, and the mark that you get, right? So this is how my grant test graph looked like, and your grant test might simulate your mostly will simulate your actual rank in your exam, right? It does simulate. I didn't believe that, but it does simulate. So my percentile varied somewhere between, I started from somewhere around 60, and I started 80, 85, 90, 95, and then it was fluctuating between 98 to 99 percentile, and hence also that was my, sorry, hence that was my percentile in the NEET PG or INICET also, right? So that's it about the first revision. Hope you find this video useful. If you find it useful, kindly share it with your juniors who are planning to prepare, and kindly troubleshoot your preparation with the points that I have said. So if you like the video, kindly drop a thumbs up button down, and kindly leave your doubts in the comment section so that I can address it. And that's it, I guess. We'll meet in the second revision, quick revision program, and about the how mentorship is going to play a role. That's going to be the part 3 of this series, and that's it for this video. Kindly subscribe to the channel, right? Thank you.